a bad week.
Thank you very much. Hello, I'm Steve Punt.
And I'm Hugh Dennis.
And welcome to It's Been a Bad Week, a show more packed with appalling things than Prince Harry's wardrobe.
More crammed with disaster than the new Conservative election manifesto.
And more stuff with unfortunate items than John McCririck's pants.
Yes, but how unfortunate are you? When people are first introduced to you, do they immediately start singing?
Hello, is it me you're looking for?
Or do they immediately start thinking?
Yes, this is the show where we sift through real news stories on a week-by-week basis to find out who has had the worst week of the week.
Before putting them forward to an audience vote to establish the winner of...
The Worst Week of the Week award, awarded weekly on a week-by-week basis.
And joining us as we pluck the stray hairs of bad luck from the eyebrow of disaster and the nostril of misfortune using the tweezers of glee, please welcome the beautifully sculptured eyebrows, Sue Perkins.
Expertly shaved sideburns, Simon Greenall.
And the full Brazilian, Mitch Benn.
Not forgetting, of course, sitting outside Ronnie Scott's club in his genuine Chelsea tractor, which he's just used to plough up the turf at Stamford Bridge. Our artist with the sound effects, Mr. Vincent Van Man.
Yes, Van Man, delve into your collection of sound effects LPs and remind us of the major stories of the past few days. Yes, of course, the sound of the $40 million inauguration party as George W. begins his second term. Yep, and there's the sound of American foreign policy for the second term. And that's the sound of my bowels at the thought of American foreign policy for the second term.
Well, of course, in the pop world, little girls' hearts were broken this week. Van Man gives us a sound of boy band Busted splitting up. Yeah, nice try, Van Man, but that was in fact the sound of a 66-year-old Romanian who became the world's oldest mother this week. And that was Wayne Rooney there, booking a ticket to Bucharest in case she wants another one.
And, of course, there was a major breakthrough in space exploration as the European Space Agency successfully landed their craft on Titan. We've all seen the pictures sent back across 1 billion miles of space. It takes the pictures 40 minutes to be transmitted back to Earth, which bizarrely means you can get pictures back from Saturn faster than you can from Boots, which is a little bit odd. So, Van Man, let's hear the sound of world excitement at those pictures.
Oh, look, some rocks.
Over the last few days, of course, some supermarkets have been reporting poor trading over Christmas. So, Van Man, let's hear the sound of all that supermarket stock that's left over.
Oh, Mummy, this milk tastes funny. It tastes funny, Mum. Oh, Mum, look at the use-by date.
Wrong again, Van Man. That was, of course, the sound of a Romanian baby being given 66-year-old breast milk.
So, I think it's time now we got on with choosing our Bad Week candidates, starting with...
Section 1.
And Steve, you're up first.
Yes, first story. So, Van Man, hit the play button. Yep, that was Not Was, who weren't around in the 60s, and therefore whenever on That Was the Week That Was, which would have been good, because it would have forced a continuity announcer to have to say that was the week that was with Was Not Was. Great track, though, and there is a Was Not Was tribute band called Was Not Was Not, if you're interested. Anyway, a song called...
We are interested.
Song called Walk the Dinosaur. It's a very bad thing, because it's one of those titles that's impossible to say without turning into a local radio DJ, isn't it? That was Not Was with Walk the Dinosaur. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Taking a Stegosaurus to the park. Don't eat the kids, back after this. Anyway, I've missed a vocation there, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, dinosaurs and pop music do have a bit of a checkered history. There was Pterodactyl and the Dinosaurs.
It's a warm day, the sun is shining. Someone wants to say, let's go to Brighton.
Oh, it's like a nightmare, isn't it? There was Brontosaurus by The Move, and most of all, of course, there was T-Rex. Oh, yes. Oh, fantastic. Mark Bolan riffs for Britain there prior to his tragically early death, which is my way of saying my candidate involves dinosaurs.
I love you, you love me, we're a happy...
But not that one. Please, no, that's Barney the dinosaur, the big purple Gayosaurus that camps about on children's television and is so unbearable that the Americans used him to torture prisoners in Iraq. No, I'm talking about proper dinosaurs from millions of years ago. Diplodocus, Triceratops, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. The Cambridgeshire village of Bassingbourne, according to the Daily Telegraph, has just had a 5-foot-tall, £10,000 bronze sculpture erected by the parish council to celebrate its past. Now, what was this sculpture? Well, local council chairman Jack White, who along with his treasurer Meg pretty much runs Bassingbourne, told the paper that they held a competition to decide on the best sculpture to celebrate the history of the town.
Well, something like a bomber, which used to fly from here in the war, would have been too obvious.
Yes, that's exactly what they'd expect us to do.
Another idea was to have a sculpture of a heron, but that wouldn't have lasted long, because there would have been plenty of bits to hang off.
Yeah, that's a problem in rural areas, isn't it? Local teenagers hanging around so bored that they like to hang off bits of a metal heron. Metal heron, incidentally, are on the bill at Reading Festival this August. So, anyway, what was this winning sculpture? What sculpture would best sum up the historical significance of Bassingbourne? Well, Van Man's made us a sound clue.
Oh, sorry, lads. I had a brontosaurus tikka masala last night.
Yep, it was a big pile of dinosaur poo. Like the one in Jurassic Park, as opposed to Jurassic Park 2, which is a big pile of dinosaur poo. And it's all down to something called coprolite, which apparently is fossilised dinosaur droppings, although it sounds more like something you'd buy at the DIY shop.
Need some fossilised dinosaur droppings? These are the droppings of a dinosaur which have been fossilised. Coprolite. It does exactly what it says on the tin.
Anyway, coprolite, after I asked Jeeves, is a highly prized thing amongst paleontologists because apparently it's a way of recording the diet and feeding behaviour and habitat of many prehistoric animals, which means it's basically you are what you eat for dinosaurs. Now, there's a thought.
Oh, you're so overweight. You're going to have to start laying off the brachiosaurs and vary your diet. Eat something else for a change. I didn't mean me, actually. Go, please get off, get off! Ah, get off! See, that's so much better. Let's have a look at those stools.
Anyway, there is my candidate, and I do love the idea of dinosaurs roaming around East Anglia. It's like Jurassic Park, but in East Anglia. The T-Rex has escaped from Great Yarmouth. And is attacking people on Ho Season's boating holidays. So, that's the villagers of Bassingbourne and their prehistoric poop piece.
Oh, well done.
Now, Mitch.
Mitch is going to sing.
Been a bad week for the Lithuanian tourist industry in particular, and good taste in general, with the opening of a nostalgic Soviet-era theme park, which the somewhat alarmed residents of the nearby village of Grutas, Lithuania, immediately christened Stalin World. Yeah, many Lithuanians have expressed their distaste for what they see as the park's making light of the Stalin era, during which Lithuania suffered particularly terribly. But what I haven't yet been able to ascertain is whether the camp has its own song, along the lines of Disneyland's It's a Small World After All and Butlins' Highway to Hell, or We Gotta Get Out of This Place, whatever it is. If not, I humbly submit the following. Mums and dads, boys and girls, why not come to Stalin World for a day of fear, oppression, pain and fun? Sing workers' songs beneath red flags, relive the days of the old gulags, while redcoats keep their eyes on everyone. Why not stop for lunch the good old-fashioned Soviet way? The canteen's always out of food and you have to queue all day. Ho ho ho, hee hee hee, play hide and seek with KGB. Those they catch will disappear and then the park will close at 8 o'clock. The walls are patrolled and the gates are locked and nobody can ever leave again.
Now, Hugh.
Painful sporting news now. And in the week that Wayne Rooney escaped censure for his celebrations after scoring, this time against another football team, I've got a bad week for Swiss midfielder Paulo Diogo. Now, newly married Paulo is playing for Beausejour against Schaffhausen in the Swiss Super League, and having set up a goal, giving them a vital 4-1 win, Paulo jumped up onto the metal perimeter fence to salute his team's fans. Sadly, though, he didn't notice before he jumped back down that his new wedding ring was caught in the wire. So having jumped back down, though, he did notice that neither his ring nor most of his finger had made that short journey with him. Yep, no more Sabutio for Paulo. But this wasn't the end of his suffering, unfortunately, because with the game halted, so the medics could relieve his pain and the match stewards could search for the missing finger and find it before it became an ingredient in one of those delicious pies they sell at football grounds. The referee booked Paolo for the length of his goal celebration. He got the yellow card. It could have been worse, because Paolo would have been sent off for gesturing at the referee had he had the finger with which to do it. Anyway, no more goal celebrations for him. But although this particular one went staggeringly wrong, why is it that celebrations don't happen in any other job? I mean, if a plumber completes a particularly tricky pipe curve around a bit of skirting, why isn't he running around the house with his shirt over his head?
You're not leaking anymore! You're not leaking anymore!
Right, so if a dustman clears a road full of wheelie bins in under 10 minutes, why doesn't he skip round the truck going...
Sing when I'm binning. I only sing when I'm binning.
Yeah. And then if a builder successfully completes an extension on time and under budget, why doesn't it... No, you're right. You're right. No, you're right, that's never happened. But it's not fair, is it? Because people who have sport as a job get to do all sorts of exciting things. Match over, finish work, have a shower together. That's fine, no one bats an eyelid. I suggest it after we finish recording the show, and they look at me as though I'm mad. Anyway, that's my candidate, Paolo Diogo, and his disappearing digit, ladies and gentlemen, I think.
Very good. So,
is that the end of round one?
that is the end of round one, which means that's our first batch of bad weeks. And as usual, Van Man will decide which one will go through to the audience vote. So, Van Man, who did you like from that lot? Oh, is that Paolo? Is that the
finger
man who lost his finger celebrating his goal? Yes. So,
I believe it was.
That's missing digit footballer man going forward for...
The Worst Week of the Week award, awarded weekly on a week-by-week basis.
So now it's time for...
Section 2.
This week hasn't been a particularly good one for 17-year-old Greg Bullmarsh from Florida. This is because he had to do something that no self-respecting 17-year-old would want to do and apply for a job. And to make it even worse, he applied for a job at his local McDonald's fast food restaurant. This is what he put on his application form.
9.
Greg Bullmarsh.
6.
Not yet, still waiting for the right person.
Desire position.
Company president or vice president, seriously, whatever's available. If I was in a position to be picky, I wouldn't be applying here in the first place.
Desired salary.
$185,000 a year plus stock options and a Michael Ovitz-style severance package. If that's not possible, make me an offer we'll haggle.
Do you have any special skills?
Yes, but they're better suited to a more intimate environment.
We contact your current employer.
If I had one, would I be here?
What would you like to be doing in 5 years' time?
Living in the Bahamas with a fabulously wealthy, dumb, sexy supermodel who thinks I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. Actually, I'd like to be doing that right now.
You certify that the above is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, absolutely.
Sign here.
Aries.
So, why is this a bad week for Greg? Well, they hired him.
They'll goddamn teach him.
So, condemned to a career flipping burgers and dreaming of his Bahamian beauty, my candidate is the young Yankee McSmartass, Greg Bullmarsh.
Hey. Steve Punt.
Yes, now it's that time of year, ladies and gentlemen, when emergency services up and down the country try to explain yet again to the public that there is serious stuff they have to deal with and that you should not dial 999 otherwise. And every year we, the bird-brained, fatuous, twit-tastic British public, completely fail to take any notice. The London Ambulance Service this week released a list of 999 calls made to them in the last 12 months in a desperate attempt to shame the culprits into being less rubbish this year. Amongst the real emergencies reported to them in 2004 were...
Hello, I keep having to blow my nose. I think I have a cold.
Get off the line. Then there was this.
Hello? I'm lost. I need help.
Yep, Natalie Appleton there. And whoever it was for real certainly does need help. And then how about this one?
I can't get my earring off.
A chavtastic example of utter witlessness in an H. Samuel Argos bling style. And my own personal favourite from this dismal list of intellectually challenged citizens wasting the NHS's valuable time is the person who phoned 999, asked for ambulance, and then said...
Hello, yeah, I'm doing a pub quiz. Are British ambulances always white?
Unbelievable. Anyway, that's my public service announcement for this week, and it brings me handily and neatly to my candidate, who is Patricia Berg, who really did need to dial 999, only she didn't, because it wouldn't have got her anywhere because she lives in Baltimore. So she dialed 911 instead, which in the US is the number for emergency services, and in Britain is the number to offer ex-boy band members jobs in Panto. It was 2:30 in the morning, it was dark. Patricia heard someone trying to come through her patio doors. Right, that is a frightening situation. She picked up the phone, dialed, and the conversation that followed was recorded and played on Maryland's WBAL TV channel. This obviously is a transcript, but it is actually what happened. It's 2:40 a.m.
Hello, police?
Yes, ma'am.
I need a patrol car here as soon as possible. I think someone's trying to break into my house. I can hear noises downstairs. Hello? Hello?
The emergency operator fell asleep while she was talking as an intruder merrily made his way into her house. And this went on for 1 minute, 48 seconds until eventually this happened.
What the hell's going on? Will you wake up? Will you please wake up? Please, there's somebody in my house. Wake up!
Okay, ma'am. What seems to be the problem?
Yep, he'd finally come round. But the irony here, of course, is that so many call centre jobs are liable to send people to sleep, but this doesn't really seem to be one of them. I mean, if you're one of those people who has to spend all day going,
Hello, customer services, Linda speaking. How can I help you?
My computer's crashed.
You tried switching it off and then switching it back on again, sir?
No.
Well, I suggest you try switching it off and switching it back on again, sir.
Okay. By the way, British ambulance is always white.
new guidelines have been issued for the future for a understandably nervous Baltimore public. One suggestion is that emergency operators, and I do like this, emergency operators should have to keep responding every few seconds just to reassure callers that there's still someone there, which I think is a bad move. I think that could just get really annoying.
Yeah, hey, police, listen, there's somebody breaking into my car.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can see them right now.
Oh, well, what do you know?
Yeah, they got like a gym.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're going through the door.
Oh, you don't say.
They're trying to steal the radio.
Damn those kids, huh?
Brand new stereo.
Oh, Jesus.
You want to shut up and suck on
Okay.
That's better.
Yeah, so that's my candidates.
I'm back again. Hi.
So that's my candidate, Patricia and the 911 phone call snoozer.
Ah, well done. And now, Sue, you've got our favourite story of the week.
Tell us
The
this
favourite
story,
one.
Sue.
This next story concerns modern military technology. Now, over the years, the world's military leaders have searched constantly for new weapons and equipment with which to bamboozle their enemies, from the first crudely constructed arrows of centuries past to today's modern smart bombs. But amongst all the amazing inventions, some of the highly complex technology has occasionally backfired and has been very unhelpful, from ejector seats in helicopters to this particularly dangerous instrument. The sound there of a camera in an Iraqi military prison. Anyway, the drive to develop new and ever more destructive weapons is usually led by the Americans, but it's been a very bad week for the US military because some of their bizarre ideas for new chemical and biological weapons have just been made public. And very silly they are too. According to the New Scientist, back in 1994, US military chiefs considered developing an aphrodisiac chemical weapon that would
make enemy troops sexually irresistible to each other by provoking widespread homosexual behavior.
Yep, everybody, it's a gay bomb. Now, what a brilliant plan! And I don't know about our enemies, but I just don't think this has a cat in hell's chance of working on, say, the officer corps of the British Army. The very idea that large numbers of public school educated men with close cropped hair that spend all their time dressing up in uniforms, sharing dormitories and being obsessed by neatness could possibly, on Earth, be at risk of turning gay, I can't contemplate it. Apparently the idea that the gay chemical bomb would
cause a distasteful but completely non-lethal blow to morale.
Yes. Many non-lethal blows, I'm sure. Now, Susan's let herself down, and she's let the program down. Now, this gay chemical bomb has already been tested on US soil, as this audio clip from a training camp in Idaho reveals. So that's my candidate, the gay bomb-developing, homophobic, redneck pillocks in the US military.
Is Van Man to go again?
Yes, Dan Man. I don't want to give you any pointers or anything, but who did you like from that lot? Hooray! Oh, hooray! Yes, we thought as much.
What a surprise!
That means that the gay bombs are joining the fingerless footballer going forward for...
The worst week of the week award, awarded weekly on a week-by-week basis, sir.
Oh, well done. So now, let's move on to...
Section 3.
Now, for our next story, we're off, thank goodness, to India.
Oh, great!
Picture the scene, ladies and gentlemen. You'll have to, it's radio. India, a place of contrasts. From the bustling cities of Mumbai and Bangalore, home to the ever-growing call centre industry, to the mountains of the Himalayas, where the British come to trek and spend the redundancy money they got from the call centre industry. But it appears that India and the UK do have one thing in common, a rising crime rate. But in the central Indian province of Madhya Pradesh, the local police forces hit upon a new tactic to tackle criminals, something they think will be far more effective than weaponry. They've decided that their elite anti-crime squad
should grow large moustaches.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
I
Can't
think that's
fail.
a fantastic idea. I love it.
Oh, stop. But it's genuine. You see, in Madhya Pradesh, moustaches are much favoured by the criminal classes. The harder the criminal, the bigger the moustache, apparently. And the reason they grow them, according to the Indian Express, is because...
For criminals, guns and thick moustaches have been traditionally used to dwarf their victims psychologically.
And now the police are hoping they can use the same tactics and intimidate the criminals by growing bigger moustaches than they've got. According to a senior police official...
These policemen will patrol sensitive areas on motorcycles, employing psychological tactics against criminals,
i.e. big moustaches,
and keep them at bay.
by looking like members of village people. And presumably they'll have specially adapted siege techniques.
Come out, please. Resistance is futile. You are surrounded and all of us are fully armed. I have a Freddie Mercury. We have 3 Groucho Marxes, 2 Salvador Dali's, a Fu Manchu, and 5 Saddam Husseins.
Well, it's a dangerous game, of course, like nuclear weaponry. Once you've got a big moustache, what's to stop the bandit getting a bigger moustache? The whole thing snowballs. You have to have an anti-moustache proliferation treaty. Of course, to be fair, the idea of hairy-lipped crime fighters is nothing new. There's been Poirot, not to mention Miss Marple. But if this catches on, it surely won't be long before we get an American show based on the idea.
We present Tash Squad.
Look, O'Grady, your whiskers are frayed, the ends are unkempt, and last week I had to bawl you out for possession of illegal sideburns. I'm gonna give you 24 hours to sort yourself out, or you're off Tash Squad.
Don't you worry, Chief. I'm leaving anyway. I'm handing in my clippers. I'm gonna go to the only place where New York cop with an outrageous mustache can go.
Somebody's dropped a gay bomb. Yeah, that's my candidate, the intimidated lawless of Madhya Pradesh. Sue Perkins has a story.
Hello. For this candidate, we visit the amazing world of insects, where a vast number of species reside, like ants. It gets worse. Crickets.
Every day, it's a getting close.
And midges. It's been a bad week for me, forgive me. And also parasites that feed off stuff that isn't theirs. Make them end. Now, the insect world is one with so many unanswered questions. For instance, do beetles have tribute insects that look and sound a bit like them? But not enough. My story today, however, is all about those cuddly little insects we know and love, flies. It's been a very bad week for lady flies this week because despite vomiting, hovering on walls, making documentaries about fat people, childless people and the gays, despite all that and living off poo, they are ladies, all right? In Australia, a group of animal scientists have discovered the ultimate in love cheats. It's the dance fly. No, sorry, Van Man, wrong again. That was the Strictly Come dance fly. The Latin name, Carolus vordermanicus detoxus cashtil muttonus muttonus. I'm angry. She looks better than me. Anyway, This study was carried out at the University of Western Australia's School of Animal Biology, and it discovered that male flies have been tricking females into having it off with them by handing over worthless fake love tokens instead of real ones like regurgitated food and bugs. And by the time the female discovers the gift is worthless and inedible, the deed's already done. Go figure. So the male fly has literally got tit for tat. I'll be in the foyer later for a flagellation. Van Man, reconstruction, please. Of course, different creatures, different gifts. Some male insects even try and attract a mate by vomiting up their food, a practice still regarded as foreplay in many Essex nightclubs. Personally, I thought the whole fly relationship thing would be an awful lot more romantic.
Food's awfully good.
Yeah, it's just perfect for vomiting acid over it, so it's reduced to a liquid form that we can suck up using our proboscis.
Yes, darling, we've been seeing each other for, well, minutes now, and I was just wondering if you were ready to become more intimate.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gerald. It takes more than just sweet talk and a couple of half-digested fungus gnats to win my heart.
I realised that, so I got you a little present.
Oh, Gerald, how wonderful. Is it dog doodle? I've always wanted dog doodle.
Why don't you unwrap it and see while I come a little closer?
I can. Oh, yeah. Oh, what is it? Mind my thorax.
Sorry, darling. Is it okay if we mate?
Oh, go on, then.
Yes.
Oh, Gerald.
Yes.
What's this? A 2005 diary? What would I want a diary for?
Well, it was half price in the sale.
I'm a mayfly, you cretin. I've only got a 4-day life cycle.
Oh, sorry, Mustache.
So that's my candidate, the food fiddle, physically full female fly.
So that's it. I think that's it for that section. Van Man, it's your third and final choice. Who's going to make it through to our grand final?
Right, there we have it then. Our final three nominations this week are the fingerless footballer, the gay bomb people, and the mustachioed policeman.
So now it's time to decide the winner of...
the Worst Week of the Week award, awarded weekly on a week-by-week basis.
OK, Ronnie Scott people, it's time for you to pick your electronic voting consoles that were built by a company that funded your party and inaugurate this week's winner. Please select the candidate you think will most annoy the rest of the world now.
And it's official, the votes are in, the votes have been vetted, and the vet has sent us his bill for £480. Van Man, the drum roll, please. In third place, Indian mustachioed policeman. In second place, the missing digit footballer, which means that this week's winner is Gay Bomb!
Hey, well done. Well done there to the US military who win this week's prize for their ridiculous gay bomb, and they win the chance to drop it on John McCririck and see what happens. So that's all. Thank you for listening, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You have been listening to It's Been a Bad Week, which features Steve, Punt, Hugh, Dennis, Mitch, Benn, Simon, Greenall and Sue Perkins. It was written by the cast, with David Spicer, Alan Stafford, Richard Ward and Colin Birch, Mike Haskins, Toby Davis and Chris Pell and John Holmes. The broadcast assistant was Trudy Stevens. The producer was Nick Kenner. And the executive producer was Liz and Steve. It's Been a Bad Week is a Celador production for BBC Radio 2.
If you'd like to come to a recording of It's Been a Bad Week, please call 020-8530-8100 or send an email to badweek@celador.co.uk.
88.2 91 FM, this is Radio 2 from the BBC.